What's up, y'all? I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off because for some reason my camera cut out. Him coming to the East Coast, he made a few stops. He first started off on the East Coast in Newark, New Jersey. He went from there to Washington D.C. and he set up different different organized groups. He went to Philadelphia. He came to Detroit. That was the fourth city he came to and established the Temple Number Four, one that I'm known to frequent. And then he went to Chicago. And by the time he got to Chicago, I want to say it was 26. There was a lot going on. There was a need for him to not only, like I was saying before, have it have an organization, um, which was and still is the Moorish Divine National Movement from the people for the people. It was in 1926 or 1926 that he decided to um, file for it to be, you know, propagated in like different schools and all the different institutions. I'm gonna pick up from a reading from this book that I was telling you all about, called The Biography of the Moors. Again, that is by Brother Claudius M. Eel. And it says here, the prophet makes his way to Washington. Okay. Excuse me, that was in 1925, excuse me. So instead of 1926, 1925, he made his way to Washington to get back the things that would make a nation of respected people out of the Moorish Americans, out of the Moors of America. Before going, he ended up getting his finances up, and then he went. He met Calvin Coolidge, the 30th chief executive of the United States at the time, who didn't really want to see him. So Allah and the universe worked, and they ended up meeting each other after the prophet got around security or whatever. The prophet asked the president for, the highest degree of, you know, rights, divine rights and authority in the land, to call his people and teach the principles of their ancient forefathers and the foremothers, the ancient Islamic religion. He asked for the names and nationality which were taken away from the Moors back in the year 1779. I'm going to pause right there because the year is significant. 1779 marks the period of time when, you know, the Moors had received and had been branded, under, certain laws, subject to the colonial usurpers here on America and at America on American soil, which today we call the United States, specifically in this area. 1779 is a year of reference. Okay, and we'll go back to that in a little bit. Maybe not this video, but another video. Um, the president answered. The president answers the prophet, and he told the prophet Noble Judah that, yeah, as long as I keep my schools and churches open, you won't get 10 people to follow you. Um, in answer to the statement, the prophet said, "The sheep know the sound of my voice." Okay. With that, the prophet was given the divine right to go forth and teach the Mohammedan religion in America, plus give the Asiatics back their free national names and nationality and birthrights, which was taken away from them 146 years ago, which is probably sound like a short amount of time for some of y'all. We'll talk about it, you know. But that was the response that was given by the president. The president at that time, is on board, but at the same time, being at the head of the executive department and, or having to hear about, maybe even orchestrate or deal with matters related to the friction that's going on between us and them, between this at this time, and shit. I mean, let's just be real. There was Jim Crow laws there for suppression, to keep people down and to keep them controlled to the benefit of the people who were controlling. Okay, so you know, with this move and the filing, making a divine plea to the rest of the world, get it being endorsed by the rest of the international community, the credit that's given to the United States, which really is not, because so much of the wealth that they possess, but the wealth that they stole and usurped from the natural people of the land. Okay, that was the reason why this whole thing, you know, where you had the international community say, okay, um, we're gonna do stuff. We're gonna endorse you, Prophet, because you can see a lot of stuff, and you're showing us that it'd be in our interest to support the North Divine National Movement to bring balance in the world. Um, just by being who we are, they won't have unrestricted access and endorsement from the natural people to carry out their inquisition or colonial operations, uh, pretty much pretty much spearheaded or launched mostly from the North American continent, the most wealthiest continent. Well, the America is the most wealthiest supercontinent there is. So um, after he got done meeting with the president, the prophet was taken down into the secret vaults where the European officials for 146 years had the secrets of the Moors of North America hidden. And again, that part where I was telling you, he went down there because there was some stuff that the Moors of America need. One thing in particular that he mentioned to the people that they can go to Washington and and they could acquire the flag that was the Moorish flag. Nobody would have known which one it was until the prophet brought it out of there, because when he went down there, he asked why the star was missing from the old Moorish flag, and he asked for them to retrieve it for him so he could return it to the rightful heirs and to its rightful owners. That would be, or that would be the people who fly that flag, the Moorish people, the Moorish Empire. So it was done. That was pretty much it. Um, yeah, Prophet officially um, starts legally armed with divine authority to teach America and Islam, not just by virtue of what the international community says. Because remember, even though the United States is technically under the supervision of the international courts, that's as far as their jurisdiction or their jurisdictional authority will lend a hand. It's just to supervise, make sure that things that are supposed to be carried out the way they're supposed to be carried out here are being in fact handled in a lawful manner. um, I say that distinct from what some of y'all would consider to be lawful, when in fact it ain't, because there's a difference between lawful and legal. Legally, again, Jim Crow laws were going on at the time. They I'm sure had stuff in place, especially at this time, because when Jim Crow was over with. Jim Crow wasn't over with until after what King talked about integration and all that. They had stuff in place still for a while, and I'm sure way more back then. You don't want to let go of the power. Why would you? Let go of the power. The legal and lawful thing, that's something totally different. There's stuff that go on that's technically legal, but it gets overturned because come to find out it doesn't line up with the laws, making it unlawful and illegal after it's been overturned. But it was legal at first. It never was lawful. And even if you think you might be missing something, you want to hear something from me, you want to let me know something, hey, leave a message in the comments. But this video already 10 minutes long. I don't want to go too much further, and this is 2 parts. So for now, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.